The 1929 crisis pushed President Roosevelt to inspire his panic-stricken countrymen to develop personal incentives so that they can develop their confidence, believe in themselves, create job opportunities, and fight against the economic recession. But unfortunately, the power of the spirit and ideas were not sufficient enough to fight against another economic recession. On VOV65 today, we'll topple on the culture of entrepreneurship, digging from the experiences of three dynamic Cameroonians who join us today to inspire you with your daily activities in your different professions, so that those of you who are still waiting behind, you know what it takes to take that bold step. Take a step forward is the 2013 edition of the Global Entrepreneurship Week, that which is inspiring us on this edition of the Voice of the Voiceless show. I'm your host, Amy Banda, and I'm thanking you for joining us on VOV65. DIANE NDEUNA has surrendered her destiny into adopting sumptuous entrepreneurial skills that will step up development and productivity in Cameroon. She runs the Eden Association, is a JCI member, and of course her experience is worth a struggle this afternoon on VOV65. Next to her is Isabel Kene, CEO of Rise Media, an enterprise that is in the economic capital of Cameroon. She is threatened by an economic downfall, and even the rainfall did not stop her from coming today on this edition. When she has an idea, she makes everything possible to make it known to a wide variety so all can benefit. And she records her success with us today so that you get inspired and know what you must do to take that step forward. Sakwe Simon, joining us from the southwest regional capital of Cameroon, is hardly surprised by any puzzle. Even the traffic in Douala today did not prevent him from coming to the show. He develops strategies through his Enjoy cooperative that mans serious situations, transforming challenges into achievement. His drop of knowledge on VOV65 today will make a difference in the sea of wealth. Money is a medium of business, and of course, this afternoon, the medium is the message. We thank you for joining us on VOV65 to pick up that smart, difficult, but very important short. Good afternoon, ladies. Good afternoon, gentlemen, and thank you for joining us on VOV65.
Bon après-midi, Amy. Bon après-midi à Simon et Isabelle. Voilà. C'est encore un plaisir d'être là cet après-midi, surtout quand on parle d'entrepreneuriat. Parce que pour moi, l'entrepreneuriat, c'est le moteur de l'économie. Et quand on va parler d'entrepreneuriat cet après-midi, c'est de parler justement de la structure entrepreneuriale et de comment ça doit être, et ainsi pour permettre aux gens d'éviter justement toutes les mauvaises pratiques qu'ils ont l'habitude auxquelles elles ont l'habitude de se livrer en fait. Donc cet après-midi encore, c'est un plaisir de partager avec les différentes personnes sur nos expériences en tant qu'entrepreneurs, sur nos expériences également en tant que coach professionnel et formateur. Et nous espérons donc au terme de cette émission de Voice of the Voiceless que le message, que notre voix justement portera jusqu'à eux et qu'enfin ils seront véritablement transformés.
It's a forum, and it's a rendezvous, not only in Cameroon, but across Africa. One thing for certain, so many people's lives will change today. Good afternoon, Mrs. Kene. Thanks for joining us on VOV65.
Hello, Amy. It's a pleasure. Always, being on your panel.
Always a pleasure sharing with people like
Always
you.
Always a pleasure, and I'm very, very, very happy, to be part of this panel today, to talk about something that is very, personal to me and important, in our society today. So it's my pleasure. And like Diana said, I hope that by the end of this show, we'll be able to move some people around and boost some others, sitting at home watching today.
Sure will do.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, Sakwe Simon. Thanks for joining us.
Good afternoon, Amy. I'm so happy to be in the show today. A lot of times I've been trying to come here, and now I've finally come. And it's my aim and my motivation to help other youths to start what some of us have started. And this is an environment, a platform that will be able to do that. And I will give my best for my experiences and from the various companies and organizations I've opened. And I think a lot of people will be inspired, and a lot of young people. Some people see me and say I'm very small.
Oh, really?
And
anyway, the pepper makes the soup very, very tasty. Yeah. You know that. And the mosquito sends you to the hospital for malaria.
Yeah.
And it's too small.
Yeah, so I want to make them understand that it's not about who they are, what they look, but what they can do with what they have inside of them.
And you got it. Money is the medium of exchange and business, and the message is the medium on VOV. New product, new market, new industry. What frame of mind do you need as an entrepreneur to move from an idea into a viable commercial product?
La première chose, en fait, c'est d'abord que les gens se disent, je vais d'abord partir d'un constat, c'est que beaucoup de personnes, beaucoup de Camerounais surtout, ont beaucoup d'idées. Mais il y a une démarche quand on passe de l'idée pour arriver au projet. Et maintenant, quand on arrive au projet, ça veut dire que quoi? On a pris cette idée-là, on a matérialisé ça, parce que l'idée, c'est ce qui reste encore dans votre tête. Mais maintenant, vous prenez l'idée, donc vous matérialisez ça, ça veut dire que vous transformez ça en projet, vous construisez le projet. Et la troisième étape, en fait, c'est justement mettre ce projet-là à exécution, ça veut dire le mettre en pratique. Donc, ça, c'est la démarche, en fait, de l'entrepreneur. Prendre d'abord l'idée, avoir une idée, une seule idée, comme je dis, parce que même si vous avez 20 idées, il est important que vous puissiez mettre une idée après l'autre, ne pas mettre toutes ces idées-là au même moment ensemble, sinon ça fait en sorte que vous gaspillez votre énergie et du coup, finalement, vous ne réussissez dans aucune idée que vous avez entreprise. C'est la raison pour laquelle vous verrez justement des personnes qui vont vous dire j'ai tellement fait, je fais tout, ça ne donne pas. C'est justement parce que vous faites tout que ça ne peut pas donner. Vous ne pouvez pas faire tout et que ça marche. C'est pas possible parce que vous n'avez pas le don d'ubiquité. C'est-à-dire vous multipliez en plusieurs autres personnes. Donc, il est important d'abord que le porteur de l'idée se focalise sur une idée essentielle qui doit donc mettre sous forme de projet, pas simplement continuer à rêver en termes d'idées, mettre ça sous forme de projet et après forme de projet maintenant, il décide de le mettre en œuvre parce que dans le projet, il y a une structuration au niveau du projet. Et la structuration dans le niveau du projet vous permet d'apprécier au mieux si votre idée est viable. Ça vous permet également de voir si le contexte économique dans lequel vous allez mettre cette idée-là, vous allez implémenter cette idée-là, si ce contexte économique est adapté. Troisièmement, ça vous permet également de voir si les ressources financières que vous disposez vous permettent effectivement de conduire ce projet-là jusqu'à son terme. Parce que des personnes commencent des projets, après s'arrêtent parce que justement manque de financement. Or, il est important justement que quand elles font leur projet, ou alors comme habituellement on va appeler ça business plan, qu'elles puissent justement structurer, sortir véritablement un business plan qui est comme une feuille de route. C'est exactement comme un peu on va dire quoi, le tableau de bord d'un pilote. Il a une destination, il va quelque part et il connaît exactement s'il va peut-être faire escale, peut-être si je vais à Accra, si je vais faire escale au Togo avant d'arriver là-bas et autres. Il sait exactement où il va et il sait également ce que ça va lui coûter d'y arriver. Ça lui permet également d'évaluer les ressources humaines qui vont intervenir justement dans la construction de son projet d'entreprise. Donc, en fait, c'est une phase 1 d'idée, 2. Il évalue, il perce son idée, ça veut dire qu'il fait une espèce de diagnostic. 3, il construit le projet et maintenant, donc, il met son projet en exécution.
Idea, values and project construction. How long did it take you to actually gain inspiration for the Njor cooperative? And how much time did it take you to move that from an idea into a project? And how much time did it actually get the materialization of this project?
When I started with Njor Corporation, I started when I left the university. And in 2008. And in 2008, I had it in a book written down because I believe whenever you have an idea, you put it down so that you don't forget it. So when I got the idea, I had now the next thing I had to look for are the skills that I need to implement those ideas. And those ideas, those kind of skills that are needed to implement the ideas are not taught in schools. So we have to go to the library, we have to go to the internet, we have to meet people. The next aspect was, who are the people that I need to meet who can help me go forward? So I have to look now and search for other people who I can meet. And I had to work for people for free for a lot of time, for a long time. So since 2008, I joined an organization and I learned a lot of things and I met some people I worked for free for some time and I learned how they start a company, how they raise money, what it took them to, do things and to start businesses. So after that, it was then that in April 2011, when I left the person I was learning under, I launched into my own business. I started with nothing, really. And from there, 2011, April till now.
And it's been moving. So you must not have all the funding in the world to start up something. Yeah. Well, we are going to be using the number 73393946 today. 73393946 today. You may as well join us too on our forum of discussion, www.preventiontalk.com. Rise. She keeps rising all the time like the sun in the morning and sets in the evening. I know you left a very good job in South Africa to start up your business. How did you convince yourself to take that bold step?
Okay, I would like first, before talking about entrepreneurship, I'd like to highlight on something. I like to say that there's a difference between an entrepreneur and a business person, and sometimes we get mixed up in between. So we have to first be able to identify who is an entrepreneur, what he does, and who is a business person. An entrepreneur for me is somebody that is driven, that has a passion, that has like a goal, like an aim, and an idea that you want to follow through. So, and a business person for me is someone that, you know, lay in action in terms of generating an income or a profit. So it's all his idea is just about money. I mean, it's true that an entrepreneur wants money too, but the main objective is not just money, it's more than that. It's a solution that you want to bring, is an idea you want to follow, is something you want to add up into something else, I mean, into somebody else's life. So a business person, like we start up with doing, for example, today we start with a printing house, and then tomorrow it's not working, okay, I'm moving into, you know, selling shoes, I'm moving to selling TVs. I mean, it goes on and on. It doesn't follow something like, you know, like DIANE says, something very, very specific. So an entrepreneur for me is somebody that has one idea, that follows it through, and that the intention, I mean, the objective of that idea is not only to make money, is to bring something. I mean, it's a driven. I mean, it's the dream that is driven. It's a passion.
To bring a solution.
Yeah, to bring a solution to something. I mean, like, okay, an entrepreneur for me was somebody like, okay, I want to start my business today. For why would I want to start my business? I want to start it because I would like to be able to employ like young people. That is a motive. That's the intention. You understand what I'm trying to say? So, if to back to my question, I would like to say I left a very good job, like you said, because I was moved. I was very driven. I had a goal. I had an aim. I was like, this is what I want to do out of my life, and I had a purpose in doing it. And for me, that purpose was much more important than what I was doing and fulfilling in South Africa. And that's why I decided to take the bold step. And I'm talking today, I'm sure that there are so many entrepreneurs out there that will identify what I'm saying, they understand what I'm trying to say. So the driving passion that moves you forward to do something, to take an action, a bold step forward, I mean, for your own self, for your family, for your society, for your community. So when you have that driven passion inside of you, I mean, you just have to take the step, and that's what I did. I came back.
Of course, we'll talk about the difficulties and know whether or not you're satisfied or you feel like you want to go back to South Africa again. Even Albert Einstein says great spirits have always encountered violent oppositions from mediocre minds. Now, what degree of courage and hope and faith must an entrepreneur imbibe in him or herself in order to keep the fighting spirit such that they run your activities? I want to give that one to you. What degree of courage, hope, and faith must an entrepreneur imbibe in his or her fighting spirit to keep the activity running?
Vous savez, je vais vous expliquer un petit exemple au niveau de la motivation. Il y a un parent, une fois, qui prend la tête de son fils. C'est vrai que les parents ne doivent pas reproduire ça, mais c'était pour donner une leçon à cet enfant. Il a pris la tête de son fils, il l'a trempé dans de l'eau. L'enfant était en train de se débattre, après il a sorti son fils de l'eau. Il lui a dit, qu'est-ce que tu avais besoin de faire quand tu étais dans l'eau? Il dit, j'avais tellement besoin de vivre. C'est exactement ce qu'il faut avoir comme attitude. J'ai tellement besoin de réussir que du coup, je m'investis là-dedans. Et par conséquent, je ne vais pas avoir 8 heures de sommeil par jour comme les autres, parce que si vous faites des choses habituelles, c'est sûr que vous aurez des résultats habituels. Mais si vous voulez avoir des résultats extraordinaires, il faut faire des choses extraordinaires. Ça veut dire qu'il faut travailler un peu plus que la normale. Il ne faut pas simplement dire, j'ai 8 heures de travail, bon, je travaille, après ça, je rentre, je regarde la télé. Non, c'est sûr donc que votre vie, justement, va ressembler à celle d'autres personnes autour de vous. La deuxième chose également que je voudrais relever, c'est que imaginez, regardez par exemple la route qui part de immeuble PMUC jusqu'au rond-point d'Ido. Cette route-là, il y a beaucoup de feux rouges, il y a des feux, il y a un moment c'est feu rouge, un moment c'est feu vert. Comme pour dire ceci, c'est qu'on n'attend pas à avoir toutes les circonstances favorables pour lancer une affaire. Ça n'arrivera jamais parce que vous aurez justement des feux autostop, il y aura des moments où c'est le feu rouge, au moment où c'est le feu vert, au moment où c'est les deux dames que vous rencontrez. Mais avec tout ça, puisque vous savez que ça fait partie des aléas justement de la vie que vous devez pouvoir gérer, n'attendez pas à réunir toutes les conditions pour dire que non, toutes les conditions ne sont pas encore réunies pour lancer, alors c'est sûr que vous n'allez jamais lancer votre activité. Donc c'est important que nous disons à ces jeunes entrepreneurs aujourd'hui, ces personnes qui hésitent encore à se lancer là-dedans, de dire que lancez-vous. Évaluez, comme je l'ai dit dans le premier propos, lancez-vous dans ce projet-là et faites-vous accompagner si c'est nécessaire de le faire. Autre chose encore, c'est que ce type de personne qui justement s'assoit et passe son temps justement à évaluer, manque de courage, parce que c'est ça le problème en fait. Parce qu'il faut savoir oser. Il faut savoir oser, parce que dites-vous bien que l'échec et le succès sont liés. C'est juste une roue qui tourne comme ceci. Donc si soit vous réussissez, soit vous échouez. Mais dans tous les cas, moi je dis parfois, et j'aime cet adage-là qui dit qu'une personne qui vous dit qu'elle n'a jamais échoué, c'est une personne qui n'a jamais rien fait. Une personne qui fait des choses va échouer. Et la probabilité voudrait que la personne qui essaie le plus de choses à faire, justement, a plus de chances de réussir que la personne qui n'essaie absolument rien du tout. Par conséquent, le plus important, c'est de passer à l'action. Vous avez votre idée, évaluez-la, passez à l'action, donnez-vous le courage de le faire et surtout, entourez-vous de personnes qui puissent vous accompagner dans votre projet.
Wow.
Ne soyez pas...
How would I not be secluded by people like you? Oh my God, this is so beautiful. And this warning drives to mind the fact that failure, hardship, and the stress await the lazy on one hand, and success, happiness, and fame, those who work hard. You were about to say something.
Yeah, and to complement what she has said, you know, before you want to start as an entrepreneur, the thing that motivates you is the vision. That's the best, that's the greatest. Just imagine that the person who owns STV, who started STV, and what are the things he has achieved today? You are here because he made the choice. There are others who are here because he made the choice. You understand? And because of the choice he made, a lot of people, a lot of families have been fed. A lot of things have been happening. A lot of people's life have been changed. Now, when he started, he did not, I think he did not think about the challenges he met, he will meet. He thought about the end result of what is certain. And that end result is what motivates you and keeps you to move forward. And one of the things also entrepreneurs should also know when they are going into any venture is that they should be prepared for rejections. The thing is, it is your idea. And most of the time, you are going and a lot of people will reject you, especially when you're asking for money, especially when you're asking for expertise. A lot of people will reject you. And to be sincere with you, you can always think of giving up. And no matter what happens, no matter rejection that comes, don't give up. Never, 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 in fact, never give up. Because of the vision you have, of the people that are going to be affected by your product and your services that you're going to offer, because of the families that you're going to impact, because of so many things, don't give up. And always be persistent. And that persistence will keep you. And the next and most important thing is courage. See, there are a lot of people, like sometimes I go to offices and I meet some very big people who are very big than me, you know. And when I said, this is my project, and they see the enthusiasm, they see the courage. And one guy asked me, do you have the courage to go and see this kind of person? I said, yes. My idea is more, and I believe in my idea. And no matter what challenges comes on my way, the person cannot block me, all right? And that courage keeps me moving. And the courage is being fueled by the vision.
And it keeps us moving today on the VOV 65 as well. From the cost of studies, cost of registration, legal fees, cost of machinery, storage cost, transport cost, overhead cost, cost of raw materials. What other aspects must an entrepreneur calculate to sustain an enterprise or an activity?
We have to, before starting up, I think like once you start, okay, let me come back. From starting is something. Now you have to follow it through, is another thing. Make the business run on a daily basis something else. So on your daily basis, what an entrepreneur is like, on top of generating profit, you have to make sure that you have enough capital to make the business survive. So then that involve a lot of things. That involve like some managerial skills, some accounting skills, anything that somebody needs. It varies. I cannot. I'm running a business from a communication enterprise and a shoe business, or I don't know, an NGO. It will be so. It varies. It's different. So each and everybody knows, how it goes with this.
Yeah, and I think also that when you are starting a business, the major capital you need first is an idea. When you have that idea, and when you begin with the idea, because it's the idea that you start selling to people. And I believe God, when God gives you an idea, all the idea God gives you is always more than what you already have. And if you think, and which is what is keeping us, so many of us not to start, if you always think that the idea is too big, I don't have the money to start, you will never start anywhere. But if you look at the Bible, it says that before God gave you an idea, there is something that you already have in you that you can begin with that idea. There's always a seed.
But above the idea, we need a running cost. This is financial running cost.
I'm coming to that.
We need the running, basic, daily running cost of the activity.
Yeah, so when you start with the idea, the first thing is start with what you have, wherever you are. If you want to start a supermarket in the future, start by opening a provision store, which is affordable right now. People can see the provision store and easily give you money. One thing to give money to an entrepreneur, which I have discovered, is trust. If people don't trust, they will not give you their money. And remember, where you spend your money, that's where your priority lies. And And if I'm giving you my money, it means that I should be looking, as the Bible says, where your treasure is, there your heart will be. I will be looking, you know, where that my treasure is. And I should be sure that the person who is managing my money is doing it well. And what keeps me to know that this person is doing this thing well? The person must have put something inside. You understand?
It's very difficult to find in Cameroon. I mean, one of the difficulties that we face as young entrepreneurs is actually that this lack of, like, you know, funding, you know, investment is very difficult. We have the bank. I mean, when you're starting, taking a loan is appropriate, but it's very, very, it has, like, you know, good and positive and negative side. And young entrepreneurs, because, okay, you start up today, let's say in November, you have to count at least minimum like a year before starting generating a profit. During that year, you will be running your business with your own, I mean, the funding of your own pocket, with the funding coming from your own pocket. Now in Cameroon, it's very difficult to find that funding. Where do you go? You go to a bank, you get a loan, you invest your business, and then you start working for the bank. At the end of the day, you realize, okay, you're not making profit because the profit that you're making, you're generating, goes back to pay the loan that you've taken to start up a business. So this is a very, I mean, the idea is good, it's very bright, it's like, you know, we all dream, but now we have to come to the practical side of it.
Okay.
On a day-to-day basis. Where do I get the funding? How do I finance myself? How do I make sure, I mean, waiting for my business to generate profit, how do I make sure that I survive, that I have enough capital, enough resources to get my idea, you know, that it doesn't collapse. That's why we see some companies closing up after 3 months, after 6 months, you know, a year. They don't have, they're not sustainable enough, they close down. So the founding in Cameroon of finances is something very, very difficult that we need to tackle on and find ideas and find solutions, not as a business to business, I mean, not the business to business, I mean, but as a, I don't know how to say, not business to business, because business to business is a networking experience, I give you service, in this exchange of services, but a kind of, I'm talking about a kind of network that helps young entrepreneurs rise up, founding, help them, you know, generate, provide, waiting for the business until a certain time that the business starts generating profit.
Apart from the funding, what are the other factors that slow down entrepreneurial activity in Cameroon?
Il y en a plusieurs en fait. Il y a même également certaines, la loi par exemple OADA, puisque c'est par cette loi-là que nous sommes régis, sur le taux de le recouvrement des créances en fait. C'est un processus assez compliqué et du coup, ça traduit ce que Isabelle est en train de dire, c'est que les banques justement ne sont même pas d'abord très souvent prêtes à accompagner les start-up, ça veut dire les jeunes entrepreneurs. Pourquoi? Parce qu'elles ont des problèmes de garantie. Comment est-ce qu'elles vont pouvoir sécuriser l'argent qu'elles donnent? Comme ça, ils m'ont été en train de dire, si je mets mon argent, c'est pour faire travailler cet argent, parce que les banques ne fabriquent pas de l'argent. L'argent qui est dans les banques, c'est l'argent des autres épargnants maintenant qui essaient de multiplier afin de percevoir un intérêt. Donc, au niveau également, il y a, comme je disais, il y a ce problème-là au niveau du processus de recouvrement des créances, par exemple. Je prends un exemple simple. Si je prends un entrepreneur qui décide, par exemple, d'aller dans une microfinance et d'emprunter 400 000 francs CFA. Il décide d'emprunter 400 000 francs pour une période, par exemple, de 2 ans. Il achète peut-être une machine. Il attend, non. On sait que la valeur résiduelle, en fait, de la machine, après 1 an, c'est de 200 000 francs. Alors que le montant de la procédure de recouvrement de sa créance est de 300 000 francs. Donc, imaginez-vous, est-ce qu'il va dépenser 300 000 francs supplémentaires? La banque la microfinance va dépenser 300 000 francs supplémentaires pour recouvrer, peut-être saisir le matériel qui n'a plus qu'une valeur de 200 000 francs. Ce sont il y a un problème également au niveau de la législation qui régit dans le processus de recouvrement des créances à ce niveau-là. C'est pareil pour le taux d'encours de crédit qui est actuellement au Cameroun, qui est de 25%. C'est normal que ce soit, non, c'est pas normal. Je veux dire, ça se comprend que ce soit 25%, alors que les standards internationaux même disent que ça doit être 5%. Au Cameroun, c'est 25%. Pourquoi? Parce que justement, certains vont taxer cher le crédit qu'ils donnent à d'autres personnes à cause justement des jeunes entrepreneurs à qui ils ont fait confiance au début, qui n'ont pas pu rembourser leur crédit et eux, ils sont dans les problèmes. Donc, à la fois ici, puisque nous, on a eu à organiser plusieurs conférences justement sur le financement de l'entrepreneuriat, le financement des start-up, on s'est rendu donc compte que les deux parties sont coupables en fait. Les deux parties sont coupables et il y a une solution qui a été proposée pour résoudre le problème d'Isabelle et de beaucoup d'autres entrepreneurs par le gouvernement camerounais, ils appellent ça quoi? C'est l'entreprise, non, le système, l'organisation qui a été mise en œuvre pour mettre à niveau les entreprises. Parce qu'ils aident également au niveau de retrouver les finances pour pouvoir financer leurs activités. Ils aident également au niveau de la formation même du jeune porteur d'entreprise. Ils aident au niveau de la structure. Si votre entreprise est déjà mise sur pied, à structurer votre entreprise, à vous aider justement à avoir les capacités à la fois humaines, les capacités managériales nécessaires, les capacités financières justement requises par votre secteur d'activité, par votre business, afin de faire un business viable. Par ailleurs, je voudrais encore revenir au niveau de qu'est-ce qu'il faut justement pour un jeune entrepreneur, parce que c'était d'abord ça la question avant celle que tu as posée. C'est qu'à la fois, il y a des ressources financières qui sont importantes, d'accord. Mais moi, je suis formatrice et coach professionnel, et du coup, le problème de finances, très souvent, ça empêche beaucoup d'entrepreneurs de se lancer. Or, si vous avez un projet qui est bien monté, je le dis encore, quand vous pensez entrepreneuriat, l'entrepreneur ne pense pas directement argent. L'entrepreneur pense idée, projet, construction de cette idée, la mise en œuvre de cette idée-là. C'est d'abord comme ça que cet entrepreneur pense. C'est pour cette raison qu'il prend du temps de préparation. Parce que dites-vous bien, il y a une loi simple dans le projet, c'est que quoi? C'est que si vous échouez de planifier, vous avez planifié votre échec. Et c'est ce que beaucoup d'entrepreneurs racontent comme problème. Parce qu'ils commencent comme ça au hasard. Après ça, quand il y a des problèmes, ils sont surpris d'échouer. Non, vous ne devez pas être surpris d'échouer. Vous avez échoué parce que vous avez vous-même planifié votre échec. Par conséquent, c'est important de prendre du temps de faire votre business plan. Asseyez-vous, peu importe le temps que ça prendra. Si je prends par exemple pour ceux qui sont chrétiens, Jésus par exemple dans la Bible, il a pris 30 années de préparation pour se préparer. Et il a fait un ministère uniquement de 3 ans. Regardez l'impact que ça a mis sur le monde entier jusqu'à présent. Aujourd'hui, on parle du calendrier. Si on dit aujourd'hui, nous sommes le 23 novembre 2013, c'est par rapport à Jésus. Vous voyez? Donc, c'est pour dire ceci, c'est que le temps de la préparation est capital dans l'entrepreneuriat. Prenez le temps de vous asseoir, asseyez-vous à l'école, formez-vous. Ça, c'est un. Asseyez-vous, formez-vous, assurez-vous que vous avez toutes les capacités en termes de formation nécessaire pour mener votre activité. Si vous avez besoin de formation complémentaire, rapprochez-vous des organisations qui peuvent vous aider dans ce sens-là. Nous, par exemple, à Eden, on a développé un programme comme ça où on forme des personnes gratuitement. Actuellement, on a formé plus de 600 jeunes justement en gestion et en création d'entreprises. On les forme gratuitement parce que nous, c'est ce que nous, on a comme mission de le faire. On s'est dit, il y a certaines personnes qui n'arrivent pas à payer cette formation-là. Nous, on vend ces formations-là en entreprise. Mais pour ces personnes-là, on a décidé de le faire gratuitement. Vous voyez, donc si une personne a besoin de formation, elles peuvent également se rapprocher de nous, se rapprocher d'autres organisations, parce qu'il y a plusieurs qui font dans ce sens-là. C'est important la formation, c'est important d'avoir la vision comme ça, ils m'ont été en train de dire. C'est important surtout de pouvoir maîtriser le schéma financier de votre entreprise. J'insiste là-dessus. Maîtriser le système, le schéma financier de votre entreprise. Pourquoi? Parce qu'une personne, l'expérience a montré qu'une personne qui a une bonne culture financière, son entreprise vit beaucoup plus qu'une personne qui a simplement une culture managériale. Et ça s'explique. Ça s'explique pourquoi? Parce que c'est au niveau des finances justement qu'il doit avoir une certaine rigueur. Et il y a une mauvaise pratique actuellement que beaucoup de jeunes entrepreneurs se sont lancés là-dedans parce qu'ils ont suivi l'exemple d'autres entrepreneurs qui étaient avant eux. C'est-à-dire, c'est ce système-là de mettre au sein de l'entreprise 4 bilans. On a un bilan pour le banquier, on a un bilan pour les actionnaires, on a un bilan pour soi-même à l'intérieur et on a un autre bilan pour les impôts. Finalement, vous vous trompez et vous perdez tout le monde là dans ces différents bilans-là parce que vous-même, vous ne vous retrouvez plus à la fin. Ça, je voulais dire encore ici, c'est pour relever le caractère d'intégrité, le caractère honnête que doit avoir un entrepreneur. Parce que si vous n'êtes pas honnête, si vous n'êtes pas intègre, personne ne vous fera confiance. Et c'est sûr que si on ne vous fait pas confiance, c'est sûr que vous ne pourrez pas avoir les ressources. Peut-être si vous n'avez pas en termes de fonds propres, il faudra avoir des fonds supplémentaires. Vous ne pouvez pas avoir des fonds supplémentaires pour mettre sur pied votre entreprise. Donc ça, c'est en quelque sorte quelques canevas. Et je voudrais encore revenir sur un autre point, c'est en termes de comment faire pour avoir le courage. Parce qu'il faut bien le dire, je ne voudrais pas qu'on passe...
Can we come back on that towards the end of the show so that these people get all the time to stay in front of their screens and learn beat by beat? One thing is certain, you must have an idea and you must train yourselves and then you must keep values like integrity and have a mastery of your financial curve. When we turn on the microphone to city dwellers that you are in economic metropolis to find out the factors that slow down entrepreneurial activity in their country, Cameroon. This is what they had to say. We'll be back for more on VOV65.
According to the recent World Bank rankings of 2014 on the ease of doing business, Cameroon is ranked 168 on the scale of 189, which implies that it is fairly easy to start a business in the country. These analyses are based on different categories, which include starting a business in Cameroon, dealing.
The key factor slowing down the economic activities in Cameroon, I don't know what I can say apart from the fact that maybe slowing down, you said? Yeah, slowing down the activities.
Corruption.
Yeah, corruption, one of the points.
We can't go anywhere with,
You can't do anything if you're not able to pay somebody for something. You have to, if you want to get something, you have to pay. Even if you want to see, I don't know, especially in our public sectors, they are normally supposed to help the population, okay, but you can't do anything without giving something. And they even personally ask the tips. You have to give a tip, you have to do this. We see them now everywhere, even when you go to restaurants, shops, even now you have to pay. It's not okay.
Je peux dire tout ça vient du haut. Du haut comment? Ce sont les hautes personnalités du haut qui freinent les activités vraiment du Cameroun. Parce que vraiment, si tout allait vraiment comme ça se doit, c'est que le bas peuple n'en souffre de rien. Ben, tout commence en haut.
Aujourd'hui, le système dans les sociétés parapubliques et privées est codé au rythme que si tu n'es pas familier à quelqu'un, tu ne peux pas avoir la place dans une entreprise. Ce sont des domaines qui nuisent à notre développement économique.
À ma façon de voir, tu comprends? Bon, pour le moment, on a assez de problèmes qu'on ne peut pas les résoudre en un seul jour. C'est bien vrai. On accepte comme ça, c'est notre pays.
On doit mettre tous les gens en prison et récupérer tout l'argent qu'ils ont volé. Ça, c'est l'impunité que nous fait notre pays. Chacun fait ce qu'il veut. C'est ça le problème.
Bon, concernant ce qui freine l'activité économique au Cameroun, il y a trop de corruption. Et on a tant d'autres que je ne peux pas citer. Bon, il y a aussi le tribalisme parce que quand vous allez dans un service, peut-être demander quelque chose ou vouloir, on va d'abord servir l'autre par rapport à telle personne qui est là.
You have corruption. You have the mentality of Cameroonians. People are very sluggish in their way of doing things. But I think mostly corruption.
Cette action, c'est par rapport à la corruption. Tout Camerounais est trop corrompu. Et en plus de ça, bon, la dirigeance camerounaise, donc je veux dire, l'État lui-même ne fait pas l'effort pour abannir cela. Et en quelque sorte, le chômage aussi, l'économie, ça ne marche pas. Les impôts, c'est encore plus très grave parce que quand, par exemple, moi, là, je suis en train d'effectuer une petite action pour vouloir peut-être survivre, il faut que les impôts frappent, l'impôt libératoire, il faut les taxes, il faut ceci, cela, ça, c'est mon point de vue.
Il y a le chômage, il y a aussi la création de plusieurs sociétés.
Les facteurs clés qui font l'activité économique au Cameroun, je dirais qu'il y a la corruption, qui freine aussi l'activité d'évolution au Cameroun. Moi, je pense que c'est beaucoup plus la corruption et que la CONAR devait beaucoup faire des efforts pour pouvoir remédier à ce genre de situation pour que l'économie puisse aller de l'avant. Parce qu'avec tant de corruption, l'économie ne peut pas avancer.
Moi, je peux dire que c'est la piraterie. C'est la piraterie qui est cause de tout ça. Bon, et la corruption aussi. Parce que si ça aurait été... Si on aurait eu un bon suivi, je crois que ça devait aller.
Dans tout le Cameroun, il n'y a pas de route. Il y a la pauvreté qui grimpe, le manque de moyens pour la population. Ce qui fait que chaque fois que vous proposez de faire, par exemple, une activité, vous êtes freiné. Il y a aussi nos fonctionnaires qui découvrent les opérateurs économiques. Vous voyez qu'avec la corruption, quand on vient sceller les gens pour rien, quelqu'un n'a pas assez de moyens, parce qu'on veut qu'il donne un peu, ça décroît les gens.
Les gens sont sous-payés, parce que quand quelqu'un est sous-payé, il ne peut pas être motivé. Et la formation professionnelle et l'orientation des jeunes au niveau des écoles, parce qu'ici on forme les gars plus sur le côté littéraire que professionnel, parce que c'est dans les pays où, comme en Chine, on forme plus les gens sur le côté pratique. Alors quand les gars ne sont pas formés dans ce point-là, on ne peut pas décoller.
I think the factors that just bring down that particular aspect in Cameroon is first of all the fact that Cameroonians are not risk bearers. Cameroonians are everything, but they are not risk bearers. So I think that is one other factor, and I think another factor is just that aspect of tribe, like I don't know, like the favoritism that Cameroonians, they have. They always like to just do things just among themselves, like their family members and like their friends. So they don't like actually go out there to try to see what is happening. They just limit themselves. So I think Cameroonians, they just limit themselves and they don't bear risk. So I think that affects the way that they carry out their businesses a lot.
Corruption. And we have to be able to do the right thing. I mean, people are here trying to, move on, trying to do something with your life, but nothing is moving, nothing is happening. So even when you want to go somewhere and get something, get a service from anybody, you have to bribe them to be able to get it. So it's really difficult to move on.
Change of mentality. That is just it's a mentality problem. It's not a question of salary. Some people talk about increasing the salary. For that you can increase the salary, but it does not necessarily. Let's take the example of gendarmes, policemen, and magistrates, and things like that. When they reduce salaries, they didn't reduce their salaries, but all the same, it didn't prevent them from frauding, being corrupt, and things like that. I think it's a mentality problem.
Welcome back, and that was it on the factors slowing down entrepreneurial activity in Cameroon for the city dwellers of Douala, the nation's economic metropolis. Back to the studio. I want to take the lone cock in the house this afternoon. Time for me to find out from you if those are the only factors slowing down entrepreneurial activity in Cameroon. Is corruption really a problem?
I don't think corruption is really a problem, because my take of it is that as a young entrepreneur, the first thing you need to know is the knowledge you need to start. Because like one time when I came to where I discovered one thing, a lot of the entrepreneurs think that to create a company is very expensive. Let me give an example for an etablissement. The third etablissement is 250,000, which was 42,500. And they were using that ignorance, and when they go and they will always complain that there's not enough money to start a business. Another problem that I discovered like in Boya was that a lot of them think there's a lot of taxes. But most of them do not know that when you create a company, you will not pay tax for 2 years. And after that, there are some incentives that are given to you. So sometimes when you go, you meet somebody and you have a vision, and the person says, give me money, and you say you will not give the person any money. The person is bound to give you what you want. That shows persistence. If somebody sees that persistent instinct in you, the person will not want the thing that you're thinking of. So, yes. So you should not think corruption like... what I've discovered is that most of the international investors who want to come in, those are the places, those are the arenas where the corruptions may come. But for young entrepreneurs in Cameroon, I don't think that corruption is really a problem.
Did you suffer from corruption?
I think differently. Corruption is a very major, big issue, problem.
Tell us the facts of corruption that slowed down
on the daily basis. I would like to talk when you started already, because you've started, and now we have to make the business survive. And for that to happen, you need to bring business, depending on the kind of service that you offer, you need to bring income into the company.
All right. Let's say I'm a company, I need your services, and maybe I have demanded you to come and do 1 or 2 things for my company, and I'm supposed to pay you, but I actually put a condition. When I pay you, give me a percentage.
That's where the corruption comes in.
Okay.
That's where the corruption steps in. That's what I'm facing. Okay. Because I'm coming to a company, they want to produce maybe an advert, and then I'm just talking to the marketing director. Tell, okay, you know what? There are so many, companies that are applying for the same kind of, but I want to give it to you. But I give it to you. This is the percentage. The business, maybe let's say, is 1 million. okay? It's 1 million, but I want 100,000, I mean, or 200, sometimes 200,000 of the one. So you have 800,000 to do the business. And on the 800,000, you have to take, let's say, the production cost will be, let's say, 500,000. And then you have to pay your rent, you have to pay your employees, you have to, at the end you find yourself with nothing. So for me, corruption, I mean, that's what we face on a daily basis is a
and
very,
if you are
very,
an
very
integral
major
person, you must suffer.
Yeah,
because the other conditions, right?
You end up there's so many. I mean, I would not actually go because on top of correction, we have the kind of like I would talk about lodge and factory, like you belongs. We have to be together. You go to you meet, for example, let's say general manager of a company that is a pharmacy. You're not a pharmacy. Say, you know what? You're not a Rotary Club and you're not a whatever. I don't want to deal with you. I mean, this is also, for me, it's also some kind of, I mean, you can call it corruption for me, eh? For me, that's also because they want to corrupt your mind and your integrity or something because I don't belong to your, you see. So corruption, I mean, intervene in so many levels, not only financial.
Not only financial.
Like, cultural, social, or sometimes people want to sleep with you.
Yeah.
You're a woman, you go to a market and say, okay, you know what, you're so beautiful, can we meet after? I mean, the working hours is from, from 8 to 5. I don't know which kind of business we'll be talking after like at 8 p.m., This is corruption for me.
Yeah.
So you cannot say that, corruption is not an issue. Because, like, before you start, I mean, you don't have to deal with corruption, but once you've started, corruption, is a, you live with that every day.
Okay. The person calling from Côte d'Ivoire, you would certainly have the number of DIANE NDEUNA before the end of the show. So she's going to train you and fight that fear in you that is preventing you from taking that step. Well, let's take a few messages, Sakwe, because Mr. Sakwe, I beg your pardon, because you're going to be reacting to some of those messages. Bonsoir, félicitations à Rice Media. Je suis fascinée par cette entreprise et j'ai une question pour Rice Media. Comment devient-on entrepreneur et quelles sont les difficultés? Merci, c'est Sandrine.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sam. This is very encouraging. So you become an entrepreneur. I don't think you become an entrepreneur. You are born an entrepreneur. I believe that's my belief. I don't know why Diane is laughing, but I mean that's what I think. You become a business person, but you are born an entrepreneur because there's this little drive inside of you that is driving. You will see, like, I don't know, from the
that keeps you going no matter the parts.
It's just inside of you.
Because
you
not sunshine every day, right?
You become a business person, an entrepreneur, you are born an entrepreneur. And then, what's the second question again was?
Comment devient-on entrepreneur? Et let's see this one.
The difficulties.
What are the difficulties? Well, that's beautiful. Thank you.
The difficulties, I mean, there are so many. That's what we're debating. One of the difficulties, I will talk about myself. What I'm going to is like, financial every day to be able to sustain the business on a daily basis. You face you face difficulties with employees. People are not all the time honest. You busy sewing. I mean harvesting. No, you busy sewing, and they are busy harvesting your product behind your back. So I mean the difficulties are very much they're so, but everybody has his own experience, and I would not like to talk about difficulty that much because I believe if it's something that I were to do again, I will do it again.
Okay.
I will do it again and again and again. I will come back again to South Africa again. I will start again and again and again. So
no matter the wahala in courts,
let's not focus so much on the.
Fine, we will not. We will not because our essence today is to start up that burning zeal in somebody that somebody does not seem to see, such that he or she stands up and begins that something that he or she must start up this minute or even before the end of VOV. It is difficult for SMEs to get funding because they don't show a comprehensive long-term plan with financial, marketing and growth details. This is Thème, and Thème is joining us from Boya. What do you say about that?
As I always say, you should not complain about starting a business or starting an entrepreneurship venture because of money. You always have something to begin with. And the best way to start with that is when you have the idea and you don't have much of the money to start, go and look for some people. These people may have ideas that are complementary to your ideas. They may look for people or they may look for materials that you need to start. You see, and also go to your friend, write that thing down, go to some of your friends and say, this is what I have in me. Go to your parents, this is what I have in me. I need some money. This is what I'm putting in. I need some money from you because these are the people who first of all know you and trust you. And now this one can give the idea I usually give is, okay, if you want to start a business for 1 million francs or let's say 100,000 francs, and what do? How many people can give you 1,000 francs from your friend, from your circle of friends? That's 100 people, right?
Yeah.
How many can give you 10,000 francs? That's 10 people. How many can give you 25,000 francs? Write all those things and write it from 1,000 francs to 10,000 francs. And look at these people and take this document and go and meet some of these people. Talk to them. This is the idea. Your 1,000 francs will help contribute to my
If you start your business with people's help, sometimes you won't have the drive. Right? It's too easy.
No,
you need to.
I'm saying that I'm saying that you first of all started with something, and it is difficult now. Maybe you may want to buy a machine that you don't have, right? And the truth is, banks are not made to give you money for a startup. Microfinance are there, but their conditions also are so difficult nowadays. So the best place to go are to your friends. And after your friends have given you and have given you that trust, you can now go with the record that you have made to microfinance institutions and some banking institutions.
Ok. Bonsoir, je suis ivoirien. Je voudrais le nom de la consultante et le contact de la structure dont elle émane afin de pouvoir prendre contact avec elle en vue d'une éventuelle formation. Elle s'appelle DIANE NDEUNA et sa structure c'est Eden Association. Et vous pouvez passer par Voice of the Voiceless 71@yahoo.com et vous aurez tous les détails sur Madame DIANE NDEUNA.
Ou alors il peut aller également sur Facebook, hein, retrouver
Pourquoi
Eden.
pas?
Voilà,
Pourquoi
vous
pas?
tapez sur Eden sur Facebook, vous allez nous retrouver également. Donc, je voulais dire quelque chose en fait concernant ce que Simon était en train de dire. C'est qu'il y a plusieurs mécanismes de recherche de financement justement quand on veut lancer une entreprise. Les mécanismes classiques, c'est justement la banque, les microfinances et toutes les institutions financières. Si c'est possible, d'accord, mais si ce n'est pas possible, c'est important justement de recourir aux mécanismes secondaires, à savoir justement le cercle d'amis et la famille. Donc, si le premier moyen, ce n'est pas possible, mais c'est important que dans tous les deux cas, que ce soit la famille, les amis ou alors la famille, les amis, un groupe ou alors les institutions financières, de savoir que le porteur du projet doit avoir un minimum. Il y a toujours votre apport personnel dans votre business. Sinon, vous n'allez pas avoir justement la pression que Isabelle est en train de vouloir relever, la pression justement de travailler parce que c'est votre argent également que vous avez engagé là-dedans. Donc vous-même actuellement, si vous voulez entreprendre une activité, commencez à dire combien est-ce que j'ai épargné? Parce qu'on n'aide pas celui qui n'a rien. On aide celui qui a un minimum. Peu importe le minimum peut être 100 000 francs, 200 000 francs, mais au moins si vous avez quelque chose. Donc, c'est important que ces personnes sachent qu'elles doivent également pouvoir épargner, constituer un capital avant de recourir aux différents mécanismes de financement qui leur sont offerts.
Tax system, lack of information flow, all forms of discrimination, and the so-called coded system in quotes. So you're able to break it. Also international exposure. This is still from Yaoundé, giving some of the factors slowing down entrepreneurship in Cameroon. You bounce back on that. This is another one. Corruption is a major factor, please. And he or she is not identifying him or herself. And good day, I am Arnold. I did something else in school which is very different from my goal in life. What should I do now? Well, we'll be taking the other messages. Maybe you bounce back to what you just said a short while ago, and the other message laying emphasis on the fact that corruption is a major problem.
Okay, and to answer the question on what you want to do with as compared to your business, I did mathematics in the university, and what is needed in the real world of business is totally opposite with what is you learn in school. Now, when you have, the first thing is identify a need that you want to solve. Secondly, what are the things that you need to solve that particular need? What are the skills that you need, as I said in the last time? What are the skills that you need to solve that particular need? What are the people that I need to meet? What are the equipment? When you have gotten this and you're written them down, go to the library, go to the internet, a lot of free information, a lot of free information. Go to the internet and get this information and study. I am a self-studied individual. I have so many international certifications. And what I'm doing today, I did not learn them in school as per se, but I studied them by myself and I'm doing them. And coming to the corruption issue, those are things that are real. But now, I don't want to focus on it because there are people who have succeeded and made those things and passed beyond them. But when you start as an entrepreneur, as I said, with the zeal, with the power, with the focus and with the vision you have with you, when you meet those things and you refuse, if it's time for sex, if they talk about sex and you refuse and you stood your ground, they will leave you. When they deny, God that particular person is not a must that he must give you that contract. If that place has closed, go to another place and start and knock until you get it. Another thing that will help you in your corruption is try to be your network. I always advise, I attend any seminar that I meet that concerns entrepreneurs, that concerns my field of studies or my field of business. I attend, I build my network. Through these people, I meet people. I meet people who can help me. Like some of my shareholders of my company, I met them through organizations. And when the first shareholder who came recommended me to another shareholder, the other shareholder who came recommended me to another shareholder. I have so many shareholders I don't even know where they came from, but it was through recommendation of others. Okay. So begin with, first of all, your circle of influence. These circles will recommend you to other entrepreneurs who are outside. So work on your network and continue and be persistent in what you're doing. Look and study and see the needs that you want to solve and study to meet the need.
Don't you give up.
Don't give up. And Ogutu was talking about and taxation. I think when you're starting like a new business, when you want to create a new business, already the government has already made it so simple now. You have 2 years of taxation that you will not pay. And after that, the tax rate is not, you are not taxed immediately. There are various regimes. And I think the problem, because I have read the whole of the tax school like 5 times to understand, so that when these tax people come, when they come, they discover that you don't even know. They work on your ignorance, and they tell you to pay taxes that you don't even know. Yes. So what do? Know your tax code. And our tax code is so small, it's not big as compared to the ones in the US and Australia. Read it and understand it. And most of the time, you don't necessarily need to understand everything in the tax code. Like
understand the basics.
Like what I do is, in my council of advisors in my company, what I do, I look for somebody who is a tax expert to be my council of advisor. He gives me tax advice for free, right? And when I need advice in this other particular aspect, I ask the person gives me for free. And I combine it with mine, so, and we work with the taxation stuff. Please, let us not complain about tax. Let us work and do like, look for these consultants, look for people. Because in Cameroon, it's almost like there are not consultants in Cameroon. When you open a consultancy firm, how many people come to you? When you open, that's a very big problem. And they don't understand the role of a consultant. And most consultants, like sometimes I consult with some small business people, when they come to me and I discover I don't even have enough money, what do I help you to do? I think I do consultancy for you for free. And when you come and you start your business, that's my joy. And when you grow, you grow.
Okay, we take a few messages, and this one reads thus: entrepreneurship isn't for the lazy that complain about funds to start up with. I believe chances will always favor the prepared mind. This is Theodore from Bamenda. So many Theodores writing today. Thanks so very much. And we have a Theodore who's also in charge of the camera today on VOV 65. And this one is coming from Lamine in the Gambia. Why is it difficult for us to trade among ourselves in the sub-region? Lamine from the Gambia. I think you addressed that one, DIANE NDEUNA. Why is it difficult for us to trade in the sub-region amongst ourselves? This is Lamine from the Gambia. We can trade, yes, freely.
En fait, c'est vrai que lui, là, en Gambie, c'est ça. Voilà, Gambie, déjà, ça fait pas partie. Au Cameroun, par exemple, on est en Afrique centrale et chaque sous-région, justement, essaie de mettre sur pied des mécanismes qui vont permettre une libre circulation des biens et des personnes. Un peu comme au Cameroun, qu'on a mis maintenant, on a dit quoi, la carte rose. Mais tant mieux si la carte rose vient. Parce que au Cameroun, par exemple, quand vous avez votre franc CFA, ou vous allez, par exemple, au Bénin ou au Togo et autres, et votre même franc CFA, là-bas, ça a plus la même valeur. On vous taxe ça plus quand vous êtes même à l'aéroport. Vous voyez. Donc, il y a des mécanismes comme ça qui ne favorisent pas. Mais maintenant, puisqu'ils ont dit on va vers une véritable intégration, alors on pense que ce sera plus facile. Mais maintenant, il faudrait, pour répondre à la question de la mine, voilà, pour répondre à la mine, c'est qu'il faudrait justement que nos organisations sous-régionales africaines puissent justement trouver un moyen qui puisse permettre une libre circulation peut-être entre elles. Parce que maintenant, ce qui est fait, c'est entre les pays d'une seule sous-région, alors qu'on pourrait justement trouver des moyens également qui vont permettre d'ouvrir même au niveau d'autres sous-régions. Et ça se fait par exemple avec les organisations sous-régionales. Ça ne se fait plus en termes d'État. en termes de pays individuels, mais ça se fait plutôt en termes d'organisation sous-régionale. Parce que chacun essaie de protéger ses frontières. Et disons-nous bien que ça a un côté, en fait, un côté préservation de l'économie d'un pays. Parce qu'un pays qui n'est pas très ouvert, imaginez par exemple, quand on refusait au Cameroun, par exemple, on refusait dans la sous-région Afrique centrale d'ouvrir. Parce qu'au Gabon, par exemple, au Gabon, ceux qui entrent là-bas, il y a beaucoup de nourriture, à majorité d'ailleurs, qui part du Cameroun pour arriver au Gabon. En Guinée équatoriale également, ces personnes, très souvent là-bas, au Gabon, on a quoi, presque 1,5 million habitants. Dans tout le Gabon. Au Cameroun, à Douala, simplement, on a presque 3 millions d'habitants. Vous voyez que si eux, ils étaient réticents justement parce qu'on ouvrait les frontières à tout le monde, justement, les Camerounais beaucoup de Camerounais qui devaient dire que non, c'est dû ici, ils vont se transporter de ce côté-là. Et la grâce voudrait que les Camerounais sont des personnes, sont des bosseurs, ce qui fait en sorte que quand ils arrivent là-bas, ils n'hésitent pas sur le moindre travail, peu importe ce que c'est, on fait pourvu que ça donne de l'argent.
As a matter of fact, a good number of them are already there.
Sorry.
As a matter of fact, a good number of them are there.
Exactly. Et c'est pour cette raison qu'on essayait donc d'empêcher les autres, en fait, pour permettre justement un développement des compétences internes même des véritables ressortissants de ce pays-là. Donc c'est pour cette raison qu'il y a souvent ces barrières-là au niveau des pays de dire, chacun essaie de peser le pour et le contre. Est-ce que ce sera à mon avantage? Est-ce que ce sera à l'avantage de mes populations? Si oui, alors là, je le fais, mais sinon, et comme c'est souvent le cas et autres, beaucoup de personnes disent donc que non, on préfère limiter à un certain niveau, on préfère justement taxer de façon chère, un peu comme ce qui se faisait au Gabon, taxer assez cher les produits qui viennent de l'étranger. Ça décourage justement les personnes de vouloir venir vendre dans ces pays-là. Donc c'est une des raisons pour lesquelles c'est souvent difficile justement de faire du commerce entre tous ces pays. Mais s'il y a une réelle volonté, je reviens dessus, au niveau des organisations sous-régionales, ça pourrait se faire. Il suffit juste de trouver le cadre dans lequel on pourrait travailler dessus.
Okay, a few more messages for you. Hi, please, I want to know how to better understand marketing and management in school. I am doing... Oh, you started with the course again, right? I am doing advanced level and and this is Nzoko Rahul. Well, we'll join you on our Facebook handle to give you more details on that. Today, we're talking about cultivating the entrepreneurship spirit. Salut, je suis responsable technique dans une industrie de la place. J'ai un projet qui est complet et... Oh my God, qui est complet et les différents investisseurs que j'ai rencontrés le trouvent alléchant mais n'arrivent pas à concrétiser et je m'apprête en ce moment à le porter dans le pays voisin. Que pouvez-vous me dire là-dessus? You'd handle that. And I take another one. It's coming from Sydney. Sydney is in Bamenda. Sydney says, corruption is not the only problem. Unfaithfulness is the most destructive factor. That's Sydney's own fact, and he's writing from Bamenda. And we have this other one, and he is saying, Simon has some bright ideas. An important thing is the drive. Let's leave challenges because entrepreneurship is about succeeding where others fail. This is Thème from Boya. We'll be taking the messages from time to time. Maybe you react to the other message where he doesn't know what to do because he has written his project. He's taken it to different investors. As a matter of fact, there was a National Investors Forum in Yaoundé, and it's wrapping up Sunday, the 24th of November, 2013. And he wants to take this project to a neighboring country. If that project is going to employ like maybe 500 people, you can imagine 500 is small, and it's not too big, and it's not too small too. And you can imagine how many people will be losing an opportunity to have employment chances just because he's taking that project out of the country. What do you advise him?
Moi, je voudrais bien d'abord que si j'aurais pu discuter avec lui, n'est-ce pas, je comprendrais mieux quelles sont les réticences pour lesquelles les différents investisseurs n'arrivent pas à concrétiser leur volonté d'investir dans ce projet-là. Ça, c'est la première chose. La deuxième chose, c'est que quoi? C'est que son projet, je pense que c'est la réponse à un besoin spécifique. Est-ce que ce besoin-là, implémenté, mis en œuvre au Cameroun, ça aurait le même impact que c'est mis en œuvre dans un autre pays? Si ici, il n'arrive pas à trouver donc des personnes, moi, j'ai des amis qui ont leurs entreprises qui ont commencé. J'ai un autre, il a commencé dans un pays voisin et il est venu au Cameroun mettre en œuvre la même entreprise. Donc maintenant, c'est simplement quoi? C'est simplement étudier les différents contextes dans lesquels il va pouvoir s'implanter. Et ça, je voudrais relever quelque chose ici parce que beaucoup de jeunes entrepreneurs font ça. Du coup, ils vont être dans notre contexte, ça ne va pas marcher. Après, ils vont se dire que non, on m'a dit qu'au Gabon, ça marche. On m'a dit que si je vais plutôt en Guinée équatoriale, ça va marcher. Non, vous ne connaissez pas le contexte socio-économique de la Guinée équatoriale et ça ne s'apprend pas à la télévision. Je suis désolée, mais ce n'est pas à la télévision que vous allez écouter ça et dire que non, ça veut dire que là-bas, ça va marcher. Non. Vous faites une étude, justement, pour savoir si votre projet sera adapté dans ce contexte-là. Donc, notre cher ami là, qu'il se dise bien, si au Cameroun, si je pouvais connaître les raisons pour lesquelles c'est les investisseurs, parce que les investisseurs, parfois, ils peuvent dire que non, c'est pas structuré, peut-être il n'a pas assez de compétences là-dedans, peut-être, je ne connais pas, on pourra apporter une meilleure solution. Mais s'il va le déplacer dans un autre pays, qui se dise bien donc que ce pays-là également pourra acquérir.
Rapidement, Madame, bonsoir et félicitations. Où se trouve Eden, ici à Douala?
Eden est basé à Bunancho.
And this one is coming to you. Hi, I don't believe in people, for they will always let you down. The best way is to put your trust in God. Just to know if you want to do business, how do you go about it? Please help me. I am Mado from Douala.
You should believe in people, right? That's God put people. That's why you are not alone in this world. All right. The talents you have is different from the talent other people have. You are always complementary. So God works through people to make things happen. And while you believe in God, which is one of the most important, you should, or the next thing that you need to believe is in people. And if you want to start your business, as I said, the first thing is, what do you want to start? What do you want to start? What is the problem that you want to solve? And this problem that you want to solve should tap to your passion. Because if it doesn't, man, you leave this thing after some time. Now, when you get it and you get what you want to start, right, the skills that you want, you understand? Right, the skills that you want, seek for funding. Like I always say, like the lady, or it's a lady who is taking about employing 500 people, and he or she wants to go out of the country to do the business elsewhere.
Because investors are not believing in the project.
Every great invention in this world has received at least 100 rejections. And after that, people will still give you money.
Okay.
You will always meet those people that God has placed for you to meet. But you will not just meet them in the first place. You will not meet them in the second place. Sometimes you have to take like 200 people before you meet one person who will believe in your idea. And people will just see the drive that you have in you and will give you money.
Well, the drive I had in me pushed Sakwe Simon to come for VOV without knowing me. Same for DIANE NDEUNA and Rise Media. Let's go and get this report signed by Francis Nganja. Many of you come again with the problem of corruption. Some are talking about the tax duties, custom duties, and so on and so forth. Let's find out how to start up an entrepreneurial activity, and we'll be back for more of VOV 65. You stay tuned. Enjoy it.
According to the recent World Bank rankings of 2014 on the ease of doing business, Cameroon is ranked 168 on the scale of 189, which implies that it is fairly easy to start a business in the country. These analyses are based on different categories, which include starting a business in Cameroon, dealing with construction permits, registering property, amongst others.
Actually, we are born with the potential to do everything. And in my case, I admired a few business people who have really made it in well. But especially, I was pushed to carry out the challenge when I read history and found out that the World Bank, with its first president, Robert McNamara, was trying to help alleviate poverty in the world immediately after the Second World War. And coming from a modest family, I thought he did not do enough, and I intended to come and fill the gaps. So you could imagine my ambition has always been to do things that will bring about a betterment in the human sort, human fate. So going into business has always been in me, and I developed it as it's supposed to be the process. So the entrepreneur should have it embedded in him. And what you see physically are just the manifestations of something which has already been planted and grown inwardly.
Alene Menger is a business owner, and unlike many other small business owners, he is registered with the government and has a registered head office.
Setting up in 8 Years Productions has been an all-life endeavor because the procedure has been very, very long. I first of all had to work hard to be sure that I could do the things that I am doing right now. I had to build confidence to stand into competition and be willing to do things that other people have not done yet. This starts from your childhood. is building a career, you want to do something, especially in our society where new things are hardly done. We live in a society where people only want to copy and follow. This is within you. Now, when you get to a certain level and you think you are ripe for that, now you need to start getting documents to back up the things we are doing. So before I get to tell you how we documented ATS Productions, I will first of all tell you how ATS Productions was conceived. Now, the conception of ATS Productions had to do with individual studies, not just learning how to talk on the microphone. It meant learning how to play the piano. It meant learning how to know how the camera works. It meant learning everything about the audiovisual production. And when I thought I was ready, I still came on and learned television from behind the camera. Now, when it was all ready, I had to start doing documentation.
Madame Bok Yolande also runs a small fashion business from home, and she is recognized by the government. Both of them saying they experience difficulties in registration, yet they put through.
Les difficultés, on rencontre toujours des difficultés parce qu'aujourd'hui, j'ai un problème. Je ne trouve pas toujours le matériel que je veux dans nos marchés. Je suis obligée de faire avec ce qui est là. Première difficulté. La deuxième, c'est au niveau des financements de nos projets. Quand nous voulons grandir dans nos activités, nous rencontrons beaucoup de difficultés dans la demande des fonds. Alors que c'est important pour nous aussi. C'est vrai que nous travaillons suffisamment, il y a l'argent qui rentre et tout, mais en général, ce n'est pas suffisant pour... voilà. La troisième difficulté, c'est au niveau des emplacements que nous choisissons. Parce que moi, si je suis encore à la maison, c'est parce que je n'ai pas encore trouvé un bon emplacement en ville. Au niveau des employés aussi, nous avons beaucoup de problèmes pour maintenir les employés. Pas parce que nous ne les payons pas, ils sont payés, mais il y a un esprit que l'artiste développe à un moment donné qui l'amène à croire qu'il est suffisamment prêt pour partir. Parce que quand nous les formons, ils ne restent pas. Ils ne restent pas. Donc, c'est difficile. Et même ceux qui sont déjà bien formés, qu'on embauche, à un moment, il y a des petits caprices qui font que ça nous perturbe dans notre activité. Et en général, ils nous lâchent quand on a suffisamment de travail. Au niveau des barrières, les impôts ne dérangent pas. Nous devons nous attendre à ça. Moi, j'ai préféré me constituer en entreprise pour pouvoir être en règle.
Some big enterprises we see today started as a small business outfit, but the fact remains that most small business owners today do not see the necessity of getting government recognition, sometimes because they consider the process too long.
Let's start from the taxation policy because that's where it's a little bit cumbersome. A lot of people feel that the Cameroonian government is taxing people a lot. But I personally discovered that because I did the things myself, I realized that it was not as difficult as you hear people say. There are some few documents that you must do, and these documents are just to back you up and back your company up in such a way that either you are not duped or you can't dupe some other person. The documents are necessary. You have a certificate of incorporation, which is done by a court register. This is to register your company. After you get that done, you need to, they send a copy to the head office of OHADA, telling them in Yaoundé that there is this particular company that has brought in the necessary documents to open and set up in a particular place. After that, they get you a certificate of incorporation while they send that there. Then you need to see a lawyer to build you an article of referendum. If you are not alone, or even if you are alone, building the normal laws that will be running your company. If you are in partnership, maybe one or two people, it is on this memorandum that your lawyer writes and tells who has the limit on what. This is what creates the biggest problems. Now, how do you say this is expensive? It's not expensive because it is you and your lawyer decision. It has nothing to do with the state. So if the bill is between you and your lawyer, what the state has is you need just to bring that document, and the state now will pick up all your memorandum and decisions that you have taken to build your own document of the article of association. You also need a bank account in a bank recognized by a state, not a cooperative. That is for transactions. Government wants to see what is coming in and going out.
On a typical day, Madame Borg Yolande takes up her activities like every mother, then settles on her business.
Puisque j'ai décidé de travailler à la maison, lorsque je me lève à 5h30 du matin pour m'occuper des enfants qui vont à l'école, parce que j'ai 2 enfants en bas âge, après qu'ils soient partis, je prends ma douche, je descends à mes ateliers et je commence à travailler. Maintenant, si jamais mon époux est en congé et qu'il est à la maison, à une certaine heure, quand il est prêt de déjeuner, je m'occupe de son petit déjeuner et je reviens travailler. Parce que ça aussi, ça fait partie des choses pour lesquelles il ne faut pas badiner, quoi.
Leaning on the research by World Bank on the ease of doing business rankings, it takes an average of 3 to 19 days to open a business in Cameroon. Small and medium-sized enterprises form a greater part of the country's gross domestic product, and the government encourages such business owners to be registered by exonerating companies from 2 years of taxes.
From every indication, it is clear that we need the 6 M's to start up a business: market, management, men, money, material, and machine, and that will produce good results for you. So many messages coming to encourage you, and we take this one immediately because that's going to take us to the other part of the show, and it's coming from a friend and a viewer in Ghana, encouraging to see young panelists from Cameroon and encouraging you guys to start thinking the bigger picture and look at ways of opening doors amongst us. The issue of trust, corruption, and taxation are challenges everywhere. But as young people, let's create a networking platform where we can plant these seeds. I am an entrepreneur, and I saw Ghana's RLG as an example, which put me to the project I am running now. Other messages are coming in, but thank goodness I had agreed with it before we took the other part of the show. Now coming back to you to say, what do we do to take that bold step, and why must we take that bold step now?
There's a very, in Africa in general, we have a very low entrepreneurship culture, and it's not in our mindset, you know, to start up something. We want a casual thing. I mean, I go to school, I get a nice job, I have a salary, and, you know, I just live my day-to-day life. Like, I mean, so now we have to, I believe it's a period of time where we have to think, go beyond the box and act on a different level. We don't want to do things that I've been doing. We want to be out and different from what I've been doing, get out of the normal system. And this is a time for our generation to rise and do something different. So I believe that we have to step up. Young people today, tomorrow there will be no job. Look at the economic situation today. Like, to find a job is difficult. You know, you get out of school, you don't have anything, you want to work somewhere, you don't get a job. And what do? You have to start doing something different. I think that's a very motivation. I mean, very, very, very strong, you know, I mean, reason why you should step up and start something different. You have to step up for your own self, for your tomorrow, for your future, and do something different now. And I mean, I don't know.
I think we're doing something different, and that's why we catch the grip of almost everybody watching the VOV 65. Now, who is taking a step forward, Diane, and why must I take that step forward now?
Just because you are not happy of what you are doing now, or who you are.
Oh, I'm so happy doing what I'm doing now.
I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about
I know.
Je parle de plusieurs autres Camerounais qui nous regardent là, simplement de se dire que si actuellement, n'est-ce pas, vous n'êtes pas satisfait de ce que vous êtes, alors c'est le temps de vous réveiller et de faire ce que vous voulez que vous soyez. Ce qui va vous propulser vers ce que vous devez être. Parce que disons-nous bien quoi, c'est simple, c'est le principe simple, n'est-ce pas? Ce que vous êtes aujourd'hui dont vous n'êtes pas content, c'est simplement quoi, le résultat des décisions que vous avez prises hier. Mais si vous voulez être une personne différente demain, c'est sûr que vous devez prendre des décisions qui feront de vous cette personne que vous voulez être demain. Donc il est temps de commencer à dessiner votre futur. Il est temps de vous dire qu'aujourd'hui, si je chasse la peur, aujourd'hui, si je ne vais pas aller dans la tombe au cimetière, puisqu'on dit que c'est l'endroit le plus riche de la terre, où on retrouve les idées qui n'ont jamais été réalisées. C'est ce qu'on dit, n'est-ce pas, les projets qui n'ont jamais été mis en œuvre. De vous dire justement que mon projet là, il sera mis en œuvre sur cette terre avant que je ne parte vers une autre destination. Donc c'est le moment pour vous, n'est-ce pas, de chasser cette peur-là qui vous retient. Parce que vous dites-vous bien, la peur, c'est l'ennemi du succès. Tant que vous allez développer la peur, tant que vous allez développer l'esprit, la procrastination. La procrastination, c'est quoi? C'est chaque fois remettre à demain. Parce que c'est souvent ce qui se passe. On dit que non, j'ai pas peur, mais chaque fois vous réfléchissez. Et ça fait en sorte quoi? Il y a certaines personnes qui ont quoi? Des grosses têtes comme ça, mais des très petites jambes. Comment vous dire ceci? C'est que leur tête est remplie d'idées. Elles pensent tellement et après elles ont des très petites jambes parce qu'elles n'avancent pas en fait. Donc on se dit que les idées que j'ai aujourd'hui, n'est-ce pas, je vais commencer à les mettre en œuvre. Certes, en route, il y aura des points, il y aura des dodanes, il y aura des feux rouges, il y aura des feux verts, mais toujours est-il que je dois avancer. Parce que quelque chose est simple, c'est que quand vous tombez, quand vous avancez, que vous tombez de l'avant. Toujours est-il que même quand vous vous relevez, vous aurez avancé, même si c'est de 0,5 cm. Et une chose aujourd'hui, pour résoudre ce problème de peur-là, ce que je conseille souvent aux gens, c'est simplement de 1. Soigner votre réseau relationnel. Soignez les personnes que vous fréquentez, s'il vous plaît. Nettoyez vos amis. Tout le monde n'est pas obligé d'être votre ami. Évitez de regarder les choses qui vont vous affecter négativement. Commencez à regarder les choses qui seront constructives pour vous. Choisissez les programmes télévisés que vous devez regarder. Deuxième chose, c'est que n'entrez pas dans toutes les conversations inutiles, parce que toutes les conversations dans lesquelles vous vous investissez à la fois émotionnellement, intellectuellement, et ça a un impact également sur vous. Donc, chassez tout de votre entourage, tout élément qui vous permet de demeurer dans la peur, ou bien tout élément qui entretient la peur en vous, et surtout fréquenter les personnes qui vous aident à réussir, c'est-à-dire les personnes elles-mêmes qui ont envie de réussir.
Et des personnes comme DIANE NDEUNA. Thanks so very much. As you take a step forward, Simon, what aspects must you consider for enterprise growth and sustainability? In 2 minutes, please.
I think for sustainability, for the sake of sustainability, the most important thing in the business is the business system. What is the business system? How is it going to deliver the product to its employees, I mean to its customers? What are the skills that are needed to make the system work? And what is the thing that you need? What are the skills? What are the people? Right? And what are the machinery that you need? Like, if the system is in place, now, a big company delivers things not on the people, not based on the people, but based on the system. Like, there are companies in Cameroon that are running the franchise system, and they are growing more than any other. I don't want to call names here. And it is because they use a system that is growing, that is expanding, and that company is everywhere. It's a money transfer company. And you can see it everywhere because of the system that is using. Whether you leave the company will still work because the system is standard. So work on building a system that create and sustain your company rather than working on something that you alone you are going to take it forward. You think it will be almost impossible. Something
Beautiful.
That
I'm also learning from that, you know.
Something that you can stand, so much that if you leave, it will still work without you.
Yeah.
That's the system that I'm talking about. A company that you can create and the system works apart from you.
Okay. Now, how unique is the bold step you made when you left South Africa for Cameroon? Few minutes, please.
I mean, the difference in the unique was only the fact that I quit my job.
A well-paid job?
A well-paid job, yeah, you have to mention. I quit my job. I left my comfort zone and I moved and I went back home. So I just want to add something on something to what Simon was saying, that people are so afraid of moving to entrepreneurship because they think it's something very big, that it doesn't appeal to them. It looks like it's for other people. But I want to say that everybody can become an entrepreneur. I mean, you can become an entrepreneur. Anybody, it doesn't matter the size, the age, the qualification, the school, everybody. You just have to have need to have the little bit of boldness to step out of your comfort zone and go into the adventure. And you know, it's something very unique and it's so self-rewarding, so self-rewarding.
Now we talk to a few Cameroonians in the economic metropolis to find out from them who is taking a step forward. Let's watch this and be back to wrap up this edition of VOV live cast from Studio 4 Spectrum Television Douala.
We have to take this step forward. The younger generation has to take this step forward. Well, let's say we have to be able to make a difference because we are the future of this country. So to really answer your question, it is us, the youngest generation, that has to be able to make a difference and get things going.
when you talk about entrepreneurship, I don't think it's geared towards any particular person. It's the whole population. Everybody can become an entrepreneur. It's not the government. I know that the government should act as a locomotive to give that impetus, but beside that, I mean, it's each and everyone's problem.
Le premier problème, c'est qu'il faille que tout le monde, pas seulement autorités, parce qu'on croit que les autorités ne sont pas des Camerounais, que tout le monde soit conscient des effets néfastes de cela, que chacun prenne la responsabilité de changer. Parce que si on compte uniquement sur les autorités, ça ne changera jamais. Ça, c'est la première chose. Et maintenant, que les autorités luttent contre l'impunité, qu'on puisse mettre ça, parce qu'on a bien beau faire tout ce qu'on veut, tant qu'il y a la corruption, l'impunité, il faut aussi beaucoup de pédagogie et être patient. On ne change pas des hommes comme si on déplaçait les papins. Il faut beaucoup de pédagogie et être patient. Et avec l'aide de Dieu, on va changer.
Il faut que les banques, avec le gouvernement, essayent de soutenir la petite et moyenne entreprise du Cameroun. Ouais. Et c'est ça qui nous manque en fait, parce que dans les grands pays, c'est la petite et moyenne entreprise qui est venue rentrer dans la grande entreprise et développer. Or chez nous, c'est le contraire.
That's exactly what the people in the city of Douala said as to what steps they must take forward, and who is taking a step forward. We retain that it's not only the entrepreneurs who are taking the steps forward. You know what you're doing back at home, and there's steps that you have to take forward to boost up whatever you are doing. Back to the studio, we have 3 minutes to wrap up this edition of the VOV show. We want to find out from you how the Global Entrepreneurship Week is important to boost up the entrepreneurial skills of Cameroonians, Ghanaians, Gambians, and Nigerians watching us from world over.
C'est un moment, comme je l'ai dit, c'est un moment pendant lequel on doit capitaliser en termes de restructuration, en termes de réorientation et en termes de réflexion sur l'amélioration même du système entrepreneurial d'un pays. Je dis la Semaine mondiale de l'entrepreneuriat. Et c'est un peu à regret que je le dis parce que c'est pas assez médiatisé au Cameroun, on ne sait pas pourquoi. Les associations, nous faisons des activités, mais on ne les reporte pas dans les chaînes, on ne sait pas trop pourquoi.
Thanks to Eden and thanks to the VOV show, I think many people are knowing about it.
Exactly. Et ça, c'est justement un bravo parce que ça c'est on fait carrément un programme justement pour le compte de cette semaine mondiale de l'entrepreneuriat. Donc c'est un moment dans lequel justement on doit davantage réfléchir et toutes les structures qui participent justement à l'entrepreneuriat dans un pays doivent pouvoir être investies là-dedans et réfléchir ensemble sur comment améliorer, parce que ici nous faisons des propositions, d'accord, mais c'est important également que ces propositions là soient à la fois débattues en groupe et qu'on puisse confronter les différentes expériences afin de trouver justement des solutions qui vont être viables et qui vont être durables pour le bien de tous.
Proposals are important, but you materialize them as well with concrete steps, like making that step forward. We also have the National Investors Forum wrapping up Sunday, November 24, in the nation's political capital. How do young entrepreneurs in Cameroon benefit from such a forum?
Yeah, I think the forum is a very important forum as the Global Entrepreneurship Week, because you know, our parents, first of all, don't encourage entrepreneurship. When a student and a child said, I want to do business, they don't even want to see you. They think you're a very dull person. And that with the Global Entrepreneurship Forum coming up and that has taken place, it helps to awaken students and people to go in for entrepreneurship. And for the investment program, I think it is also helping us, the people who have the money and who doesn't know what to do with the money, to know that it is very important to invest in people.
Thanks so very much, Isabel Rice-Kene. Why is it important for you to encourage them in a few seconds to take that bold step?
Because it will change your life. That's all I can say. It will change your life, it will change your family's life, it will change your future.
It is going to change your life and it will change your family's life. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for watching. The ray of hope will come from our ability and will to transform our lives through creation, innovation and invention, like our panelists have been saying for 90 minutes on VOV 65. In other words, we must rethink our existence, change our mentality of depending on others and finding solutions to our problems by taking the initiative ourselves. And that starts with with a bold step, that step that you're taking right away. Thanks for taking the step forward on VOV 65. You like it, but you fear it and you love it when you wear it. You just took a step forward, and we're going to be with you again next Saturday to topple on some of those moral falling standards that are taking us down the dungeon. Fine, the ministers have signed a ban against indecent dressing. How much about the violence in boarding schools, and what about women battering their husbands? All of that for you on VOV 66, same time, and next Saturday, exclusive to STV, your TV. Rebroadcasts are tomorrow, Sunday at 10:30, Wednesday at 2 p.m., Friday at 3 a.m. and 4 p.m. Until then, keep voicing your views out for that may just make that desired change.